I'm Chris Perry, a supply chain professional, and I do hold a real estate license in Georgia. Thanks for joining me on Freedom 106, and today we're going to talk about retirement. The truth is, I'm sure you see it in the news, you probably see it all over, Americans are not saving up enough for retirement. And it's not just Americans for that fact, it's global. People don't have enough money for retirement. Retirement's kind of this thing that people look at like it just happens. You reach 65 or 67, and boom, you're done working and you ride off into the sunset. But that's just not the truth. If you don't put money in, there'll be no money to take out. 1/3 of all employees have less than $1,000 in their retirement account, and 60% of all employees have less than $25,000. So when you take that number, well, let's just take $100,000. So that's $25,000 that we obviously know 60% have less than that. And so that's times 4. $100,000, if you were living off of $2,000 a month, would last you 4 years and 2 months. And it's going to take more than $2,000 a month for the average person at the age of retirement. And mind you, that figure isn't even taking into account taxes, which is an even bigger burden, and really is the biggest burden on Americans in our working lives, and that's all Americans, is the tax burden. So when you look at it, Americans just aren't saving enough. So take a good figure to use is $1 million. So if we use the 4% rule, and that's what we'll say, we have $1 million, and it's in the market. And mind you, I am not a financial advisor, so when it comes to retirement and finances, you do want to seek a professional advisor for guidance. When we take that $1 million and you take 4%, that's $40,000 a year. So that figure of $40,000 a year, by the time taxes come out of it, we're not even looking at $3,000 a month. Now, with it being in the market, you should continually be able to grab that money out annually. But the question is, can you live off of less than $3,000 a month in retirement? And there's different variables that are going to decide that. So, are you married? Do you have a mother or father that's older that you're taking care of? There's a bunch of things that go into that, but for the most part, that figure is not really large. So, as I alluded to, I do have a Georgia real estate license, and have really paid a lot of attention to real estate investment. I'm an active real estate investor, and Clayton Morris and Natalie Morris from Morris Invest are 2 individuals that I've paid a bunch of attention to, and watch videos and watch podcasts to learn as much as I could over some time. And Clayton said one day, he put it in something that really got my mind turning and really shifted the way I think about things with money. And he was talking about this concept that everybody wants to be a millionaire. Well, if you had $1 million, how long would it last you? We see this evidence all the time of where people win the lottery, 250 million, 300 million, 500 million, and they go broke. So really it's a mindset thing there anyway. But what he said is, rather than have $1 million, wouldn't you like to just have enough to continually replace your income and you not have to work for it, which is passive income. So when you think about it, that is living free. We're not talking about $1 million that's just going to dwindle down. We're talking about your income is covered from here on out. So when you put those figures together of just being able to sustain yourself, we're not even looking at retirement at that point. We're talking about now. And now it would take time to do that. But obviously, if you're able to do that while you're working, that will roll into retirement. So we'll go back to that figure of $100,000. For less than $100,000, it is possible, it's very possible, and people are doing it all the time, we'll use the number of $20,000 in regards to a down payment for a rental property. We'll say the rental property is $100,000, and we'll say that it pays $1,000 a month. Now, mind you, you're only in it 20%. The other 80% is going to be paid off by the renters. So you don't pay that. And there's other things that go into it as far as with taxes and expenses that could have you coming out. So that's you would be able to over time get for $100,000, $20,000 down payment on each, 5 rental properties that pay you $1,000 a month each. That's $5,000 a month. And that's not like your paycheck now. That's $5,000, a true $5,000 a month. Now we're looking at $60,000 a year. And that goes on and on and on. So think about it. We're just talking about 5 properties. What if you had 10? Now we're talking $120,000 a year. So you can scale up or scale down according to what your needs are in retirement. But when you start to look at it from a way that you're not just looking at some huge amount of money that's just going to run out, and you're looking at it like, hey, this is residual, it's ongoing, then you start to see, hey, there's a better way. And with a 401k, that's the what I would say is the biggest way that people save for retirement, and nothing's wrong with that. You do get a match, but the biggest thing is taking the steps that it takes to really be able to retire. And that's not going to happen without taking action. So what we'll do, we'll go over in some other videos more in depth about how you actually achieve those properties and what goes into it, because it's not easy, but it is something that you don't have to be a realtor to do. You may start out without any knowledge in real estate. There's tons of books out there on it. There's tons of channels on it. But it's really about that shift in mindset. I hope this was helpful. If so, please hit that like button as well. Hit the subscribe button, and definitely hope to bring you more information on things that you can do. But just remember, it does take action. And these types of actions, if you're taking them and you're staying constant with it, it will change your life. Thanks.